Hello and welcome to National Focus for Tuesday, October 8, 2024. I am Julian Morris. In the headlines, OECS Procurement Services Policy Board convenes in Dominica. Government strengthens resilience against potential cybercrimes. And the CARICOM recognizes Kevon Vidal as the Youth Farmer of the Year. The details of the headline stories and more when we return.
Are you ready? Dominica invites the world to celebrate the biggest and most anticipated music festival in the Caribbean 2024, October 25 to 27 at the Windsor Park Stadium in Roseau. 3 nights, 1 stage, non-stop action. Get your ticket now at dominicafestivals.com. Dominica's World Creole Music Festival.
Welcome back. The Organization of Eastern Caribbean States, OECS, Commission convened the 37th meeting of its Pooled Procurement Services Policy Board on Monday at the Intercontinental Dominica Beach Resort and Spa. The meeting also coincides with the 10th OECS Council of Ministers of Health. The event is being held under the theme Beyond Borders, Breaking Barriers and Empowering Change in Healthcare Access and Delivery. Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Health, Wellness and Social Services, Dr. Laura Esprit, says this meeting is critical as they continue to collaborate to fight against global health challenges.
The commitment of your presence here exemplifies the dedication and unity we share in our joint regional pursuits of improved health and wellness outcomes for the people of the region. To all our esteemed delegates, we are excited to have you. We are assured that your insights will be invaluable as we navigate the challenges and opportunities that lie ahead in our collective efforts toward efficient and effective pharmaceutical procurement practices and, of course, explore other pertinent matters under the vast umbrella of health. It is my fervent hope that each of us leaves with renewed vigor and a renewed sense of purpose upon which to act in the best interest of our people, which is our ultimate mission.
Minister for Health, Wellness and Social Services, Honorable Kasani Laville, says the theme is fitting as access to quality health care remains a global issue.
In a world where we travel and connectivity has become even simpler and tech advances have virtually eliminated borders, we must ask ourselves, why do barriers in healthcare still exist in certain parts of the world? Why do millions still lack access to basic healthcare globally? These disparities are often amplified by socioeconomic statuses, geography, and systemic inequalities, alongside the profit-driven motives in some parts of the global medical industry.
He says creating greater access to healthcare should be a priority for all governments.
It is our duty as colleagues gathered here today to confront these gaps in our region and ignite the change that is so desperately needed. Let us take action on this responsibility together. By continuing to share knowledge, resources, and best practices, we can create a more equitable healthcare system that empowers individuals and communities to take charge of their health.
Prime Minister Honorable Roosevelt Skerrit says government has always championed access to health services.
You have in me a very strong advocate for health and healthcare and access to healthcare. And the Minister quite rightly pointed out to our efforts towards universal access to healthcare. It's cost us a lot of money. It's costing a lot of money to provide free medical care to a large percentage of the population. And oftentimes, when you're faced with challenges, there'll always be people who say to you, as Prime Minister, you should cut this or cut that. But I believe that we have a duty and obligation to ensure that every citizen has access to healthcare.
The Caribbean Digital Transformation Project Unit has concluded a workshop for public and private sector stakeholders as Dominica seeks to strengthen its cybersecurity infrastructure. The government of Dominica is concerned about cybersecurity, particularly as the country continues to expand its presence online.
Obviously, there are going to be more attacks, and many times there are attacks, but no one speaks about it. So the intention is to ensure that our people are secured, our government systems are secured, and also our private sector is secured. So we had a seminar, or you could call it a conference, where many of the different stakeholders came together so that they could understand what the threats were about and to understand how to deal with them. And very importantly, for them to learn that the government of Dominica is also trying to put together its own cybersecurity team and network, again, to ensure that our people in Dominica are safe and secure.
Mr. Tong says cyber attacks are real threats, particularly as companies are collecting more and more of people's personal information.
Sometimes we're collecting your name, your email address, your telephone number, and these are ways and means of persons getting information to attack individuals. We have to teach people how to have the right type of password, the long types of passwords. Many times people use their date of birth, they use their child's name, they use their honeymoon, but these are the same things that we're posting on social media. So it means a smart person knows how to get many of our passwords without even knowing it. But the threat is real. Just recently in Barbados, you had an attack, and there are companies in Dominica that have been attacked, but they have had to deal with it themselves, and it can cause many issues. For example, if your private data is exposed, it means persons can attack you. It also means that your personal information is out there and can be very embarrassing. And for companies, sometimes you have to re-enter lots and lots of information, which means it's a significant cost.
When personal information is involved, the breach of trust becomes more serious.
If someone loses trust in your company, more than likely they will not come back to you and they'll go to someone else. So we have to ensure that not only our companies are protected, but even our people are learning to use ways and means. So many times we get updates and we don't update our phone. So many of you see updates on your device or even on your browsers. We don't update it. Many of these updates are to protect you from vulnerabilities.
The responsibility to protect personal or sensitive information rests with the individual.
In terms of passwords, you want to ensure that you use strong passwords. You can't just use regular text. It means if someone uses a bot, they could figure it out in a very short period of time. So it's all upon us. Many people don't change the admin name, so it means someone can easily use that to try and go into your system. So the important thing is for us to learn and for us to be educated so that we can teach not only ourselves, because like I said, you might be protected, but your father, your mother, your sister are not going to be protected. When they're impacted, it's still going to impact every single one of us.
Minister for Tourism, the Honorable Denise Charles Pemberton, has welcomed news of plans by United Airlines to make non-stop flights from New Jersey to Douglas Charles Airport in February next year. The flights due to begin February 15 means Carnival patrons will have greater facility in traveling to Dominica ahead of the festivities.
The new air service on United Airlines, which is a major U.S. airline, is certainly a game changer for the tourism industry. I can tell you that the stakeholders are very excited, and it shows the commitment of the government to growing the tourism industry. As you know, we have an aggressive target of 500,000 visitors by 2030, and access has been the main challenge to getting more visitors to come to Dominica because people prefer non-stop service than having to stop off at another airport and go on a smaller aircraft to come to Dominica.
This air service from United Airlines is expected to connect Dominica with more cities in the U.S., particularly the tri-state area and Washington.
Our investments in the tourism industry, especially when it comes to improving access to our destination, is bearing fruits. As you may recall, we started air service with American Airlines in 2022, and during the hurricane season, we had numerous cancellations and diversion of flights. And in communication with American Airlines, they said, look, Anguilla, who is your neighbor, who barely has weather conditions, extended their runway and grooved their runway. So what are you going to do to show your commitment to the industry? And so we started the journey. We started to look at how we can improve your service. So we started to engage companies involved in grooving and started to explore the extension of the runway.
Work on the Douglas Charles runway, extending it to 6,000 feet, has opened the door to airline service from other major airlines.
Because we are constructing the international airport, which is going to be the ultimate game changer for Dominica, because it will allow us to receive aircraft from all source markets and major countries in the world, we decided to attend Roots America's Forum to start the communication and start the conversation with potential airline partners for the international airport. Because the last thing you want is to have an airport built and no planes landing. So we started that communication in advance. And in doing so, we discovered from many of the airline partners that Dominica, if we were to extend our runway by additionally about 200 feet, that we would be able to, there's a possibility that they could come to Dominica.
She says those discussions revealed that the Douglas Charles runway was just a few hundred feet short of international standards.
What we want to do is to ensure that once our international airport is complete, that we already have existing relationship with airlines that are coming to the destination. So it will just be a transition from one airport to the next. So the possibilities, whichever airline is interested in having conversations with us, partnering with us, and want to commence air service into Douglas Charles right now, we're certainly open to having that conversation with them.
Kevon Vidal is the recipient of this year's CARICOM Youth Farmer of the Year Award. The young Dominican received the award from ICA at the opening ceremony of the Caribbean Week of Agriculture in St. Vincent and the Grenadines yesterday. The theme of this event is Climate-Smart Agriculture for a Sustainable Future.
It is immense joy and pride that I stand here before you as the recipient of the 2024 CARICOM Youth in Agriculture Award. I would say this is a true manifestation of perseverance and commitment. As a young man who has been rooted in agriculture, coming from generations of family and a community invested in the agriculture sector, I have always had a desire to not only toil in land, provide food, but to see the hard work, the love and passion emerge as a business venture. Making money was also the ultimate objective.
He spoke of what he called the key ingredients of his resilience in farming.
The water and the soil conservation methods, protected agriculture, and with the use of traditional knowledge together with new and smart farming techniques, also have fostered my success as a young farmer. So in closing, I would just like to say a special thank you to my parents, my family, my friends, my farm workers for their unwavering support, investment, and also the agriculture extension officers, the Ministry of Agriculture for the technical guidance and support, as well as the Almighty Father for His grace, His mercies throughout the years.
Agriculture is increasingly impacted by the devastating effects of climate change. Climate change also impacts negatively on rural communities and smallholder farmers who are often hardest hit. You are watching National Focus. More when we return. Welcome back. The Commonwealth of Dominica Police Force has just concluded a successful Police Week 2024, the first such observance in 11 years. Chief of Police Davidson Valerie says various challenges prevented the staging of Police Week in the past, but this year presented an opportunity. The police chief says Police Week holds special significance for him.
We thank God that our plans for Police Week 2024 were not hampered by a hurricane or any major situation in our country. So you would know that even with your plans, you have to respond to those challenges that will come up now and then. But fortunately for us, this year presented a tremendous opportunity, and so we embraced it. We have had Police Week in the past. It has been a while since we have not had Police Week, and we felt it was necessary to try our best to have it this year.
Police Week activities are meant to foster an attitude of togetherness and boost morale among officers.
It brought about a certain level of camaraderie. It brought a team spirit among us. And really and truly, this year, we looked forward, of course, to having Police Week with that intention, that it would bring about that team spirit, that togetherness, that camaraderie, and a kind of reassurance amongst the officers. Not often do we have the opportunities to have Police Week, and once we've gotten it, I believe the officers would certainly enjoy having those sort of activities that we have put together.
The police chief says he is very well aware of public criticism and all genuine concerns ought to be taken on board.
There are sometimes criticisms that are just, downright not necessary. There are many. But I can say there are also many criticisms of the police that we take on board. And these criticisms are taken in a way to better our delivery. There is a lot of room for improvement in the Commonwealth of Dominica Police Force. And what we need amongst our officers is that motivation. We need to have officers motivated to deliver, because policing is not just a job. Yeah, it's not just a job where you come and you sit and you go and you're home when you finish. It's almost a lifestyle. It's a vocation.
A number of local artists down to perform at this year's World Creole Music Festival are collaborating with the DDA-DFC in persuading patrons to get ready for this year's World Creole Music Festival. Ecstasy is one such band known for promoting the bouillon genre.
When you have Ecstasy, what do you think of? You think of the only compa band in the English-speaking Caribbean. Only compa band in the English-speaking Caribbean. Compa is a Haitian genre. Haitians do it, but we took it up as our own with a fusion of our Cadas music and bouillon music. We made it our own. So Ecstasy intends to bring the legal high through music. That is what Ecstasy is all about.
He made a pitch to potential patrons to make preparations early to attend this year's festival.
So if you want to experience a legal high through music, you have to ensure that you book your ticket very early. You should already have a ticket and start making your way to Dominica. And when we say Dominica, you're not only going to come for the World Creole Music Festival. We have a lot more to offer. We have our destinations, we have our foods, we have all the activities you heard from the different fringe event partners and all that we have in store for you. But we, the member of the Ecstasy Band, we want to invite you to come to the World Creole Music Festival because it's an experience you will never forget.
For the 24th edition of the Creole Festival, Ecstasy is promising only original tracks. And now for today's weather advisory. Increased moisture from the south is expected to enhance cloudiness, scattered showers, and possible isolated thunderstorms over parts of the island today. Relatively light and moist southerly wind flow and high daytime temperatures could enhance this activity. Bursts of moderate to heavy showers and thunderstorm activity are possible. People in areas prone to flooding, landslides, and falling rocks should be on alert. Hurricane Leslie, located in the central Atlantic, continues to be monitored. This system is expected to remain over open water and pose no direct threat to the region. Northeasterly swells are expected to persist along the eastern coastline during the next 24 hours. Slight to moderate seas with swells reaching up to 5 feet are expected. Small craft operators and sea bathers along the northern through eastern coast should exercise caution due to onshore breaking wave action. Today's hurricane tip: make plans to secure your property. And that's all for this edition of National Focus. Be sure to follow GIS Dominica on Facebook, YouTube, and on Twitter. You can also drop us an email at gis@dominica.gov.dm. From all of us here on the GIS News Production team, I am Julian Morris. Thanks for watching.